Hi everyone, welcome to the free 7 rules email course. Today is rule 1. Now rule 1 is learn English phrases, not individual words. This one, just like all the other rules, is very simple, very easy. And like the other rules, this rule is very powerful. So simple, so powerful. So what is the rule? The rule is always learn phrases, not individual words. So simple. So a phrase is a group of words. You can have whole sentence, but it's just a part of a sentence. So for example, let's say you have a word hate, H-A-T-E, hate, and you want to learn this new word. You just write down the word hate, and then you find in your dictionary the meaning, and then you memorize hate. That's the old way. That's the kind of textbook way, the school way, right? In school, you probably remember a lot of individual words. You have those big vocabulary lists. You are trying to memorize all of them. Try to remember all these individual single words. It's not a good way to learn. Much better if you learn phrase, a group of words. And where do you find these phrases? You find these phrases in the Real English podcast that you are listening to, in the Real English storybooks that you are reading. So you don't memorize the list in a book. No. You listen to Real English, and when you hear a new word, you write down. Or when you are reading a storybook and you see a new word, you write down. But do not just write out that word. You want to write down the whole phrase or sentence that is in all of it. So instead of saying hate, you just write out hate. You would write down John hates ice cream. You write down the whole phrase. Why do we do this? What is the power of phrases? Well, phrases give you a lot of information, much more information. Number 1. Phrases are easier to remember because they have meaning. They have a kind of a picture of story, especially when you get them from something that you are reading or listening to. You'll remember it. John hates ice cream. You remember the whole story. You remember who John is. You remember that he had ice cream, and then you remember he hated it. He didn't like it, right? So you have all these extra pieces information. All this extra information helps you remember the meaning of the phrases and the meaning of that word. So it helps your memory much easier to remember. Number 3. There's the bonus. When you learn phrases, you are learning grammar also. You are not only learning an individual word, you are learning grammar. You are learning how to use that word correctly. You don't need to think about the grammar. You don't need to know the rules. It's automatic. This is another way that native speakers learn English grammar. Because where we are children, we learn with phrases. We learn groups of words, not just one word by one word by one word. Word by word is slow and doesn't help, and you don't learn any grammar. But when you learn the whole phrase, you write down the phrase, you are getting extra information. Maybe you don't know it, but you are. For example, John hates ice cream. Just that word, that S on the end, hates, right? John hates. Well, you know from grammar study that you know. You are making the subject and the verb agree. You don't need to think about that. Just write out the phrase, John hates ice cream, and study it and review it. Always learn the phrase, not just that word. And so in the future, whenever you say he hates ice cream, she hates ice cream, you add that S, the S, right? Because that is how you learned it. You learned it correctly. You learned it from a phrase. On the other hand, if you learned it from a textbook, you just learn the word hate means doesn't like. and you only learn that form hate, 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 and you study, study, study it, you memorize it. That's when you start making mistakes because you learned it only this one way. You learned it with other words. So sometimes you'll say he hate ice cream. You'll forget the S because you never learned it correctly in a sentence, in a phrase. So this is a very simple rule. Your last rule in the course. Very, very important. Every time you find a new word, always, always, always write the phrase or sentence. When you review that word again, you study it again. Always, always, always study the entire phrase or sentence. Never study just the word, always the whole phrase. Do this every time. Your grammar will begin to improve. It'll improve much faster and you'll remember the vocabulary faster and more easily. And you will use that vocabulary more quickly, so you get a lot of great benefits, a lot of great stuff happens when you learn phrases instead of words. So phrases, learn them. Yeah, this is the one for today. Thank you for watching my video. Bye bye.